released by the president, or the office of the president, signed by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, there is an electoral and also criminal investigation that is ongoing regarding the Kawempe North by-election. And now, according to the news we've gathered in the last 24 hours, the NRM Electoral Commission has started gathering information to prepare for a court petition challenging the 13th March 2025 Kawempe North by-election results. However, the National Unity Platform Party candidate that emerged as the winner said he is ready to defend his win in court. So I guess the best man is going to confirm to us whether they won or not, or maybe the best party will prove to us whether they won or not. I think the race in Kawempe North by-election is still ongoing. And guess what? Because next year, 2026, is the general election, I believe that we are going to have conversations of this nature for the most part, because political actors are already in full gear. And of course, the electoral roadmap is also out. Electoral Commission is busy. And for us here in the media, we will keep you informed and educated. So once again, good morning. Welcome aboard. I am with Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono and Julie F. Nantaba Musisi. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning, Olive. Good morning to you who's at home or who's on your way to work, watching UBC TV here to be inspired. Now, something I've followed up over the last 24 hours is last week, in fact, from the dailies, we got to talk about a story of household heads being jailed, facing chances of being jailed for 1 year, or pay a fine of 1 million in case they fail to have stores, food stores, or ensure food security for their households. And this stems from the Food and Nutrition Bill 2024, which is spearheaded by Honorable Milton Muwuma, the Chiguru County South MP, who's also the chairperson of the Parliamentary Forum for Children. And he tabled it last year in September, and right now he is on his way collecting views from the public regarding the same bill. Now, it's very interesting that first and foremost, he feels that this bill is pertinent and important for parents, teachers, and the government to take it serious, because every child must feed while at home and while at school. But also, some of the issues it covers are advertising unhealthy foods, but also post-service food handling, as well as having nutritionists. And the bill also intends to regulate food selling points, including those ones intended for low-income earners, the ones that we call toninyiras.
Okay, so how so we have a bill. I'm curious to know the effectiveness of it, and of course implementation. Robert here likes to tell us that we are good at having all these bills and having all these laws, but at the end of the day, implementation lacks. So yes. Do you have any idea of what the bill suggests will be done?
So far, the MP managed to state that if this bill is eventually passed, it will be able to implement the food policy for Uganda.
Okay, all right.
But given the people it affects, like we shared last week, thinking about the fact that many households in Uganda are led by women who are mostly low-income earners, but also looking at the bit of advertising, regulating healthy foods or unhealthy foods, what determines healthy and unhealthy on the media spaces, and also looking at regulating small food selling points, the toninyiras. How exactly is it going to be done with these, especially women who take part in this business? But I also understand that Robert has very passionate sentiments when it comes to this particular bill, the Food and Nutrition Bill 2024, and we've been having a bit of conversations behind the scenes.
Well, if you ask me, there is need for regulation of food in every facet of our life, because you'll realize that in cities, many Ugandans depend on such food. Yes, so it's important for us to have it regulated, especially the sellers and the points where they operate from. I'm curious to know your thoughts, Robert.
Well, the good thing is we are under consultations to seek views and opinions of people regarding this food nutrition bill. One, it talks about national food reserves. Now, much as it's targeting households, they must have food reserves, also the national food reserves. I don't know the possibility of that because we've seen so many times, because we lack food reserves, people eating leaves in Karamoja, famine and all this, and then we rush to Red Cross, we rush to the World Food Program, you know, we look here and there to find food. So what about us having a national food reserve? Then when you go to households, many of the people cannot have food reserve. They depend on the market. Many of you heard of the Kameza. That means money a man lives every day for food. Now, people who will go to work. One time I asked a border rider, I told this young man, why are you in this business? Yet there are other things you could be doing. And he said, you see, with the border, once I leave home, even if I tell my wife, put on water for posho, I'll just ride and then I'll come back with a kilo of what? Posho. So people live on, as they earn is as they feed.
Hand to mouth.
Leave alone hand to mouth. But you go out to get the food of that day. So people who live that way are hard then to tell that please, you must have a food reserve. Even in the villages today, life changed. Those days you'd go to the village and come back packed. The car has everything.
Homesteads used to have granaries.
Yes, today you're going in the village, but they're telling you, bring us posho, bring us beans. We don't have this, we don't have that.
So Robert, what has changed over the years from having granaries to having to depend on things that we buy from the shops, even those that are living in rural communities where farming takes place?
Well, first we must understand climate change has had an impact because now people cannot 100% rely on seasons like it was, but also land fragmentation. That we must accept today, a person who had 10 acres of land has now divided those into 8 sons he had, and the huge chunks for serious agriculture. Now there are very few, coupled with these real estate dealers. You know, these are people who buy huge chunks of land that maybe were formerly used for farming, and they are splitting into plots for people to build houses. So climate change, population, the influx of population, and also the fact that for some time agriculture has not been very profitable for the young generation. So a number of them have moved away from agriculture and leaving it to the elderly. 90% assurance that you're going to come out the winner. 90% assurance that you're going to come out the winner. You may think you have your facts, but you see, it's which team is more smart. Which team is more smart? That is good, and how are they going to produce their facts? Court is something I learned that you can never go there rest assured that because of ABC, therefore I'll come out with victory.
Well, yesterday when we had this conversation, the political student and lawyer that was speaking to Richard Byamukama, he did say that if NRM argues that they did indeed win and that there was malpractice, then they must substantiate. They must have the facts and they must be able to substantiate. Otherwise, they are going to just make fools of themselves. But let's watch and see, because one thing I know is that you can win in the court of public opinion, but then the law takes a different course and the law could emerge differently. That being said,
looking at the light side of things, just imagine Narukola actually defending himself in court.
He's a lawyer. He
is
has a
lawyer,
law firm.
And his law firm actually focuses on constitutional rights and all the like. So
yes, and the rule of law and protection of justice.
Wait
so
for
anyway,
7 days to elapse. If they elapse without anything, then Narukola can go and slaughter his chicken.
And Robert is waiting with bated breath. But anyway, let's continue and have a look at our local news.
Well, we begin with the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, who wants public committees in Africa to probe funds from stage of disbursement through to the expenditure before the close of a financial year. She was opening the 5th conference and the general meeting of the Africa Organization of Public Accounts Committees in Kampala. Africa loses at least $88 billion every year to illicit financial flows, which is 325 trillion Uganda shillings, of which Uganda loses 2 trillion shillings. This is the financial situation on the continent as Uganda hosts the 5th conference of the Africa Organizations of Public Accounts Committees. Participants are urged to follow up on illicit financial flows, build partnerships, and take action. The chairperson, Medadirwega Segona, said the role of PAC committee explores operations of legal frameworks in tracking financial flows. Under the 4th Global Industrial Revolution, members of public accounts committees are guardians of accountability to ensure resources are well managed. The 5-day conference is on the theme Strengthening Legislative Action to Combat Illicit Financial Flows and Foster Public Financial Resilience. The NRM Electoral Commission has started gathering information to prepare for the court petition challenging results of the 13th March Kawempe North by-election. The NRM Electoral Commission chairperson, Dr. Tango Doi, said the party has gathered close to 400 party members, mainly agents, to extract evidence. These are believed to be supporters of National Resistance Movement Party from Kawempe North constituency. Having participated in the just concluded Kawempe North by-election, NRM party lost to National Unity Platform. They have been summoned at the party's electoral commission to do only one job, as Dr. Tango Doi explained, according to this process, which will kick off the petition journey. The party's flag bearer, Farida Nambi, filed the petition faulting the Electoral Commission for breaching the law. Meanwhile, the European Union mission in Uganda is concerned over the increased political intolerance emerging in Uganda as the country prepares for the 2026 general elections. The European Union ambassador to Uganda, His Excellency Jan Shadak, met officials from NRM party secretariat and hinted on the violence in the recently Kawempe by-election. The Member of Parliament elect for Kawempe North, Luyimba Zinarukola, has vowed to defend his victory in court. It follows National Resistance Movement Party to petition the results of last week's Kawempe North by-election. Narukola was addressing new pleaders at the party headquarters in Kavule, Kampala. Last week, the Electoral Commission declared Narukola candidate Elias Luyimba Zinarukola the winner of the Kawempe North by-election. The Electoral Commission returning officer of Kawempe Division North, Henry Makabai, declared Narukola for winning this election. National Resistance Movement candidate Farida Nambi came second, but the NRM party seemed not satisfied with the outcome. The NRM front violence, ballot stuffing, and missing results from some polling stations which could have affected their victory. But the National Unity Platform responds to the allegations. At their headquarters in Makere, Kavule, NUP convened to compare notes on the challenges. Supporters who were allegedly injured in the scuffle were paraded and the violence against the press condemned. In a statement released through various social media platforms, President Yoweri Museveni condemned ballot stuffing and also contested the results, accusing the opposition in Uganda of indiscipline, which necessitated security deployment. And finally, looking at our local stories, the Minister for General Duties in the Office of the Prime Minister, Justin Kasule Lumumba, underscored the need for policy review on water and environment to solicit funding of this sector. Lumumba was speaking at the opening of this year's Water and Environment Week at the Ministry of Water and Environment headquarters in Luzira. Encroachment and degradation threaten Uganda's natural resources, which is fueled by poor agricultural practices and unplanned urbanization. The State Minister for Water and Environment, Beatrice Anyua, said there are under-financing challenges and worsened by budget cuts, which could the Ministry of Water and Environment find challenges in implementation and conservation. Minister for General Duties at the Office of the Prime Minister, Justin Kaswedu Mumba, who represented the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, challenged Anyua on the need to review the water and environment policy. This year's Water and Environment Week is on the theme Water and Environment Resources for Enhanced Resilience and Improved Incomes and Livelihood. Well, that brings us to the end of our local stories.
Now moving on with international news, U.S. President Donald Trump says many elements of a peace agreement in Ukraine have been agreed with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin ahead of their much anticipated phone call. Trump posted on Truth Social that he will speak with Putin on Tuesday morning. He said that while there have been agreements, much remains to be worked upon. Each week brings 2,500 soldier deaths from both sides, and it must end now. I look very much forward to the call with President Putin, Trump wrote. He earlier told reporters that we are going to see if we can work a peace agreement, a ceasefire and peace, and I think we'll be able to do it. In his nightly address on Monday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky accused Putin of prolonging the war. This proposal could have been implemented long ago, he said, adding that every day in wartime means human lives. There have been inconsistencies from within the Trump administration over how advanced the ceasefire talks are. Now moving on, children are among at least 100 Palestinians killed and many wounded in Israel air attacks across the Gaza Strip, the largest strike since the ceasefire with Hamas started on January 19th, 2025. United States Lieutenant General Alexis Grinkewich says U.S. strikes on Yemen have killed dozens of Houthi fighters. The UN Children's Agency, UNICEF, says at least 2 children aged 6 and 8 are among the dead. Thousands of people have rallied in Yemen in Sana'a in support of the Houthis, who have vowed to respond to the U.S. attacks, as U.S. President Donald Trump says Iran will, quote-unquote, suffer the consequences if they do so. The Houthis say their attacks on U.S. and Israel-linked ships in the Red Sea are in solidarity with the people of Gaza, where Israel's blockade has now reached a 16th day. Meanwhile, Israeli attacks have killed 3 people in Syria and 2 people in southern Lebanon. Gaza's health ministry says at least 48,572 Palestinians have been confirmed dead and 112,032 wounded in Israel's war on Gaza. Gaza's government media office updated its death toll to more than 61,700, saying thousands of Palestinians missing under the rubble are presumed dead. At least 1,139 people were killed in Israel during the Hamas-led October 7, 2023 attacks, and more than 200 were taken captive. Now coming back to East Africa, Rwanda has cut diplomatic ties with Belgium, saying it has been consistently undermined by the European nation during the ongoing conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Brussels has been leading calls for European nations to sanction Rwanda over its support for the M23, a rebel group at the center of the DRC crisis. The authorities in Kigali, Rwanda's capital, have given Belgian diplomats 48 hours to leave the country. Belgium, which is the former colonial power, has said it will respond to these measures and labeled Rwanda's decision disproportionate. Despite assertions from the UN and the United States, Rwanda has denied backing the M23 rebels. In its statement on Monday, Kigali accused Brussels of attempting to sustain its neo-colonial delusions. Belgium has clearly taken sides in a regional conflict and continues to systematically mobilize against Rwanda in different forums, using lies and manipulation to secure an unjustified hostile opinion of Rwanda in an attempt to destabilize both Rwanda and the region, the statement said. Belgium Foreign Minister Maxime Prévost responded to Rwanda's measures on social media, saying, and I quote, "This is disproportionate and shows that when we disagree with Rwanda, they prefer not to engage in dialogue." Well, that does it for our international news. Now let's have a look at the press.
And what is in the press? Panic as HIV drug supply reduces. Now, Health Ministry to improve supply chain management. Experts speak out. That is in the new vision. And top A-level schools in the last 5 years. The top A-level schools have been listed there. Seta High School, Mukono, Gayaza, St. Mary's, Namagunga, Namiryango, St. Joseph's SS, Nagalama, Mengo SS, Uganda Matters, Namugongo, St. Julian H. High School, St. Andrea, Kawa, King's College, Budoki, Subi Seminary, Kawempe Muslim, and in there, still in the new vision, pictures of students who performed well in their UACE, and also looking at matters health. Sweden gives 7.5 billion for Ebola fight. And there is a series, Kanungu Massacre, the making of Chibwetere. But also still in the new vision, government plans incentives for young people to marry. And still in the new vision, here is a smart student who won a quiz. But looking now at the Daily Monitor, inside Pinetti's bottomless pit. And there is a picture there of the Lubowa Hospital, but also public money, private pockets. The passing of 4.2 trillion shillings supplementary budget last week amid the chaos in the Kawempe North by-election did not go unnoticed. And starting today, the Monitor looks into entities that have benefited from taxpayers' money with the latest bonanza blessed by Parliament, yet the results on ground are far from satisfactory. That is in the Daily Monitor. But also still in the Daily Monitor, Cancer Institute gets 15 billion shillings high-tech detection machine. And also still in the Daily Monitor, Museveni crying over vote rigging since 1980. Is he always the victim? And celebrations continue with more profiles of last year's A-level stars, and over 10,100 deals in there for tenders and games and fun at Taiba International School. But let's quickly look at the Citizen. Jobless youth groups are bomb waiting to go off. The rising number of unemployed graduates forming associations in Tanzania has been described as a ticking time bomb, with experts warning the situation must be addressed urgently without resorting to excessive government force. That is in the Citizen. But also what Kano Plus and multi-choice merger means for local content creators. French media giant Kano Plus is seeking to acquire a majority stake in MultiChoice, a development that is expected to enhance investment in Tanzania and expand local content distribution to francophone nations. But also still in the Citizen, Rwanda cuts diplomatic ties with Belgium and DR Congo involvement. And still in the Citizen, Tanzania to redraw national map to curb land conflicts. And lastly, Maria Niwasa shaping women leaders in law, finance and government. That is in the Citizen. And looking finally at the Daily Nation, why parents are worried about competency-based curriculum in Kenya, and confusion surrounding transition from junior to senior secondary school, and the myriad challenges bedeviling the new education system have pushed some parents to move their children to expensive institutions offering international curricula. But also still in the Daily Nation, Ruto abandons Uhuru's 22 billion KDF projects, And still in the Daily Nation, Shah Ro, state threatens to shut private hospitals. And finally, Umtata, Ruto and Raila packed a civilian coup. It's a betrayal of millions of Kenyans, says the senator. And how married man's date with lover ended in a police cell death. That is in the Daily Monitor and Daily Nation, and it also concludes what we have in the press today.
Well, thank you, Julie. Now, we will take a short break, leave you with the inspiration song of the day, one that I like, Live and Die in Africa by South Soul. We'll be right back to talk eyes. Yes, we will be speaking matters eyes to the future and celebrating World Optometry Week with LaPair glasses. Stick around.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Talk about a story of household heads being jailed, facing chances of being jailed for 1 year or pay a fine of 1 million in case they fail to have stores, food stores, or ensure food security for their households. And this stems from the Food and Nutrition Bill 2024, which is spearheaded by Honorable Milton Muwuma, the Chigulu County South MP, who's also the chairperson of the Parliamentary Forum for Children. And he tabled it last year in September, and right now he is on his way collecting views from the public regarding the same bill. Now, it's very interesting that first and foremost, he feels that this bill is pertinent and important for parents, teachers, and the government to take it serious, because every child must feed while at home and while at school. But also some of the issues it covers are advertising unhealthy foods, but also post-service food handling, as well as having nutritionists. And the bill also intends to regulate food selling points, including those ones intended for low-income earners, the ones that we call toniniras.
Okay, so how so we have a bill. I'm curious to know the effectiveness of it, and of course implementation. Robert here likes to tell us that we are good at having all these bills and having all these laws, but at the end of the day implementation lacks. So do you have any idea of what the bill suggests will be done?
So far, the MP managed to state that if this bill is eventually passed, it will be able to implement the food policy for Uganda.
Okay, all right.
But given the people it affects, like we shared last week, thinking about the fact that many households in Uganda are led by women who are mostly low-income earners. But also looking at the bit of advertising, regulating healthy foods or unhealthy foods, what determines healthy and unhealthy on the media spaces, and also looking at regulating small food selling points, the toniniras. How exactly is it going to be done with these, especially women who take part in this business? But I also understand that Robert has very passionate sentiments when it comes to this particular bill, the Food and Nutrition Bill 2024, and we've been having a bit of conversations behind the scenes.
Well, if you ask me, there is need for regulation of food in every facet of our life, because you'll realize that in cities, many Ugandans depend on such food. Yes, so it's important for us to have it regulated, especially the sellers and the points where they operate from. I'm curious to know your thoughts, Robert.
Well, the good thing is we are under consultations to seek views and opinions of people regarding this food and nutrition bill. One, it talks about national food reserves. Now, much as it's targeting households, they must have food reserves, also the national food reserves. I don't know the possibility of that because we've seen so many times, because we lack food reserves, people eating leaves in Karamoja, famine and all this, and then we rush to Red Cross, we rush to the World Food Program, you know, we look here and there to find food. So what about us having a national food reserve? Then when you go to households, many of the people cannot have food reserve. They depend on the markets. Many of you heard of the Kameza. That means money a man lives every day for food. Now, people who will go to work. One time I asked a border rider, I told this young man, why are you in this business? Yet there are other things you could be doing. And he said, you see, the border, once I leave home, even if I tell my wife, put on water for posho, I'll just ride and then I'll come back with a kilo of what? Posho. So people live on, as they earn is as they feed.
Hand to mouth.
Leave alone hand to mouth. But you go out to get the food of that day. So people who live that way are hard then to tell that please, you must have a food reserve. Even in the villages today, life changed. Those days you'd go to the village and come back packed. The car has everything.
Homesteads used to have granaries.
Yes, today you're going in the village, but they're telling you, bring us posho, bring us beans. We don't have this, we don't have that.
So Robert, what has changed over the years from having granaries to having to depend on things that we buy from the shops, even those that are living in rural communities where farming takes place?
Well, first we must understand climate change has had an impact because now people cannot 100% rely on seasons like it was, but also land fragmentation. That we must accept today, a person who had 10 acres of land has now divided those into 8 sons he had, and the huge chunks for serious agriculture. Now there are very few, coupled with these real estate dealers. You know, these are people who buy huge chunks of land that maybe were formerly used for farming, and they are splitting into plots for people to build houses. So climate change, population, the influx of population, and also the fact that for some time agriculture has not been very profitable for the young generation. So a number of them have moved away from agriculture and leaving it to the elderly. So that is also another problem. But finally, Olive, on this, you took my interest when you talked about NRM going to court.
Yes, NRM is now has started an investigation into the Kawempe by-election, and they are collecting evidence to indicate or to prove that there was malpractice and other tendencies like altering of the votes, ballot stuffing to mention but the like. But NUP is saying they are going to defend their win in court. Now,
there is one thing I learned about court. Sometimes he who has the facts in the public eye may not win, but he who has a smart team and has gathered evidence proper. Because what happens there now, you hear legal terminologies, you may think what you have is evidence. So when you go to court, you can't have a 90% assurance that you're going to come out the winner. You may think you have your facts, but you see, it's which team is more smart. Which team is more smart, that is good, and how are they going to produce their facts? Court is something I learned that you can never go there rest assured that because of ABC, therefore come out with victory. Well,
yesterday when we had this conversation, the political student and lawyer that was speaking to Richard Byamukama, he did say that if NRM argues that they did indeed win and that there was malpractice, then they must substantiate. They must have the facts and they must be able to substantiate. Otherwise, they are going to just make fools of themselves. But let's watch and see, because one thing I know is that you can win in the court of public opinion, but then the law takes a different course and the law could emerge differently. That being said,
looking at the light side of things, just imagine Narukola actually defending himself in court.
He's a lawyer. He has a law firm,
and his law firm actually focuses on constitutional rights and
reforms,
all the like. So
yes, and the rule of law and protection of justice. So anyway,
7 days to elapse. If they elapse without anything, then Narukola can go and slaughter his chicken.
And Robert is waiting with bated breath. But anyway, let's continue and have a look at our local news.
Well, we begin with the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, who wants public committees in Africa to probe funds from stage of disbursement through to the expenditure before the close of a financial year. She was opening the 5th conference and the general meeting of the Africa Organization of Public Accounts Committees in Kampala. Africa loses at least $88 billion every year to illicit financial flows, which is 325 trillion Uganda shillings, of which Uganda loses 2 trillion shillings. This is the financial situation on the continent as Uganda hosts the 5th conference of the Africa Organizations of Public Accounts Committees. Participants are urged to follow up on illicit financial flows, build partnerships, and take action. The chairperson, Medadi Rwega Segona, said the role of PAC committee explores operations of legal frameworks in tracking financial flows. Under the 4th Global Industrial Revolution, members of public accounts committees are guardians of accountability to ensure resources are well managed. The 5-day conference is on the theme Strengthening Legislative Action to Combat Illicit Financial Flows and Foster Public Financial Resilience. The NRM Electoral Commission has started gathering information to prepare for the court petition challenging results of the 13th March Kawempe North by-election. The NRM Electoral Commission chairperson, Dr. Tango Doi, said the party has gathered close to 400 party members, mainly agents, to extract evidence. These are believed to be supporters of National Resistance Movement Party from Kawempe North constituency. Having participated in the just concluded Kawempe North by-election, NRM party lost to National Unity Platform. They have been summoned at the party's electoral commission to do only one job, as Dr. Tango Doi explained, according to this process, which will kick off the petition journey. The party's flag bearer, Farida Nambi, filed the petition faulting the Electoral Commission for breaching the law. Meanwhile, the European Union mission in Uganda is concerned over the increased political intolerance emerging in Uganda as the country prepares for the 2026 general elections. The European Union ambassador to Uganda, His Excellency Jan Shadak, met officials from NRM party secretariat and hinted on the violence in the recently Kawempe by-election. The Member of Parliament elect for Kawempe North, Luyimba Zinalukola, has vowed to defend his victory in court. It follows National Resistance Movement Party to petition the results of last week's Kawempe North by-election. Nalukola was addressing new pleaders at the party headquarters in Kavule, Kampala. Last week, the Electoral Commission declared Nalukola candidate Elias Luyimba Zinalukola the winner of the Kawempe North by-election. The Electoral Commission returning officer of Kawempe Division North, Henry Makabai, declared Nalukola for winning this election. National Resistance Movement candidate Farida Nambi came second, but the NRM party seemed not satisfied with the outcome. The NRM front violence, ballot stuffing, and missing results from some polling stations which could have affected their victory. But the National Unity Platform...
Please let us know why it is important to have regular consultations or checkups.
Well, thank you, Olive. The reason that's why we are here to celebrate together with the entire Uganda about this World Optometry Week and Eyes to the Future in particular is because I must say 90% of our day-to-day activities we entirely rely on our vision, and we need to have a bright future which can be at least recognized when we can see. Now, why it is important for us to have regular eye checkups is because in eye care, most of these serious eye conditions that are vision threatening do not really come with pain, and if something in Africa here is not presenting with pain, we often don't give it really much attention. But now in eye care, we are here to emphasize regular eye checkups such that it can enable us to, in case a person has an issue, we can diagnose it quite earlier and have it corrected, so that we mitigate some of these conditions that can come as a result of not treating them earlier. Now, it so happens that for us here in Africa, if something is not paining you, you can still see a little bit well. Well, you may think you see the way everyone else sees. not until you see an eye doctor. That's when they'll tell you, now this vision needs this, you need this, you need this. So it is really very important for us to do this at least once every year.
Okay, so I understand that many eye issues develop without any noticeable symptoms.
Sure.
And as you have clearly put it, if it doesn't pain, then why go to the doctor? But still, I'm sure there is a viewer there wondering, I don't wear glasses, I don't feel any pain. Is it necessary for me to have eye checkups every single year, or leave that to Olive, who wears glasses?
No, it's actually very necessary for everybody. As long as your child is like 3 years and above, this child needs that eye test. Why? I have got patients out of experience. A person will come to, I just came for the routine check. Not until you, because in eye care we test one eye at a time. You close one eye and the patient's like, wow, I can't see you. And they've been living like that. They didn't know they actually use one eye to see. There are some of our people who actually start by losing peripheral vision, like they can't see at the sides. Since they can see front ahead of them, they may never know they don't really see at the peripheral. So most of these things you really may never know. Some of us have refractive errors, though they may not be that so noticeable, but because we've never taken that time to go and have them checked, you may never know. So most of these things, my dear viewers, with or without pain, at least normalize having that eye checkup, that eye test once every year. It doesn't cost you much because our tests are not painful.
No, the tests are not
Yeah,
painful.
no.
And in most places, the tests are actually free.
Yeah, with us they are free. I'm not sure elsewhere, but with us they are free of charge.
Okay. Why is early detection crucial?
Early detection, it is really very crucial because, yes, there are some conditions that can later get complicated and hence lead to blindness if not corrected earlier. Now, if we do early correction, if we can know that maybe Olive is this short-sighted, now you're wearing your glasses quite earlier and wearing them right, normally within these first ages, before one leaves their teenage ages, the chances of improvement are high. So it is possible this girl or boy may actually in future live without these glasses, depending on the correction needed, which may not happen if, say, we started correcting you in your late 30s or late 20s. You see this? There are some of these conditions like, say, glaucoma. If it is noticed earlier, because it is a thief of your vision, if it is noticed quite earlier, and it is managed earlier, at least we can retain the vision that is present at that particular time. There are some conditions that may really lead to blindness, whereby if they had been corrected earlier, we wouldn't get there. And then some of these blindnesses caused even irreversible, which is something that could have been, avoided. So I would really encourage each and everyone to have these eyes tested at least once every year, please.
Okay. All right. Well, still on the issue of constant eye checkups at least once a year. We have today we live in a digital age, and because of that there is the digital strain where we are exposed to gadgets for long periods of time. As adults, you're looking at your phone, there is all these applications that keep us engaged, but also for the young ones, they play games on their tablets or they are watching TV. So when you look at that, how bad can it get?
Well, I personally appreciate the impact of technology because, yes, we can't live without it. It's now part of us, unlike in the olden days. It's now part of us. You can't live without a screen ahead of you. But in eye care now, these screens have also a negative impact on our eyes, on our vision, since they emit what we call blue light. Now, these blue lights, yes, they do affect our vision in the long run, and we notice that for every person who sits before that screen for more than 4 hours a day, they are really at risk of getting this digital vision syndrome. And it is a collection of symptoms, say headaches, blurry vision, the eyes get tired, teary, painful, it is a collection of a number of symptoms. Now, and it is we can't avoid it anyway. But what we do is, if you know you're at risk of such a condition, you're in that computer for more than 4 hours a day, please have yourself these protective eyewear. these glasses that have the blue blocking effect in them. They're called photochromic blue light blocking spectacles. Yes, they can help you block that blue light from the screens. Yes, we have them at La Paix. For children, I would encourage parents to minimize the amount of time they are leaving these screens with their children, because wow, it is so worse these days. As young as 1-2 years, we are giving them cocoa melon because we want them to be simply occupied. In the long run, this child is going to be so sensitive to light, even small amounts of light, and yes, you'll have to face the repercussions. So for the elder ones, get yourself the blue light blocking spectacles, which we do have at La Paix, and have your eyes at least protected from these lights before you even start getting these adverse side effects like insomnia, like you can't sleep enough.
Yeah, I was coming to that, the effects of being of a digital strain.
Well, the very common one is headache. They really cause a lot of headache. You can feel eye pain. The eyes are always feeling tired or sleepy. Insomnia, like it is time you feel you want to sleep, but you can't sleep, like you can't just get sleep. But you feel the eyes are tired and you need to rest. Some of us feel like they've poured sand in our eyes, like gritty sensations. There are quite a number of things. They can get red. So there are quite a number of things. And I do believe when one is experiencing that, you definitely not work effectively at work. So.
Okay. Now, speaking about insomnia in relation to the blue light exposure or digital strain, if I've been on my computer or any other gadget, how much time do I need in between for me, between the usage time and going to bed? When do I put my phone down?
Well, thank you. First of all, even before you're thinking of sleeping, there is something we call, there is a rule we have in IKEA, we call it 20-20-20 rule. It states that for every 20 minutes you spend on that screen, you have to take off 20 seconds and look at something about 20 feet away. That's about 6 meters. That is something you're supposed to do each time you're on your screen, be it phone or TV or computer.
20 minutes.
Yes, for every 20 minutes you spend on the screen, take off 20 seconds, look at something 20 feet away. Now, between bedtime and screen time, at least take a minimum of 45 minutes or 1 hour before you jump into bed. This helps your eyes relax from that, from these. You know, the way the eyes are concentrating on this blue light is different from, you know, at least have them relax a little, the muscles to get back into place, and then you can take a nap. These are the times, you know, for some of us who sleep actually with our phones, or some of us doze off while we are watching movies. That's when you wake up in the morning feeling so tired, the eyes are heavy, you know, things like that. You wake up with a headache.
And you're like, I went to bed early, but my eyes are tired, yet it's early morning.
It does happen. We need to take off that time off these screens before you actually go to bed.
Okay, okay, very interesting. Now, if you have any questions for Jacqueline here, please reach us on WhatsApp number 0709 602 592. We are speaking matters, eyes to the future, celebrating World Optometry Week. And I am speaking to Jacqueline Babonirao from La Paix Glasses. Now, La Paix is a company that is committed to giving, okay, not giving, but they are committed to providing affordable eye care services, including checkups, but also glasses that you can buy without breaking the bank. So you should be part of this conversation. If you have any questions regarding your child or even yourself, please ask the questions, and Jacqueline will be in position to answer those questions. Now, Jackie, take us through some of the common eye conditions that are affecting people today.
Well, the very common ones we have today, I'll start with, yes, what is in our community is eye allergies. Almost, we have almost 60% of the children in communities having one allergy or the other, eye allergies, I mean. And yeah, it is something that is affecting us. When I talk about an eye allergy, I know it also leads us into some of these refractive errors. If, say, the allergy is very severe, one is scratching them so much, it will take us to a refractive error. We have things like conjunctivitis, bacterial conjunctivitis, these ones that present with discharges, yellowish discharges, the eyes are getting so red, swollen. Those are their refractive errors. Refractive errors are quite many. We have myopia or nearsightedness. We have where a person cannot see things at a far. They actually see things close.
Can I interject a bit?
Sure.
Why is it that today we are experiencing more and more cases of myopia?
Wow. And it is even mainly amongst young children, by the way. And I think we need to know that most of these children are born actually long-sighted. But along the way, we find them developing nearsightedness, which was not maybe the case long ago. But for now, I will attribute it to the lifestyle we are giving these children. Now, this child's eye is still under active development, because yes, it will develop up to around the age of 8 years, active development. But as the child is 1 year, even just months, we are giving them giving them tablets to watch Cocomelon. I know when they're on these tablets, they are doing more of near activities. You see this? So, you know, just the way plant could grow when it is bent. Yes, that's how it will grow. Likewise here, these eyes are getting more of they are getting used. They are getting locked up in near vision. Okay. That's why we are seeing many of them getting short-sighted now.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And maybe on that, you've talked about babies on Cocomelon quite a bit. How does it affect a child's brain? You know, eyes are also windows to our brains.
Yeah, sure.
So how does exposure to these gadgets affect a baby's brain and its development? I mean, the frontal cortex develops not until 25 years.
Sure.
But now we have this exposure to gadgets as early as 1 or even below 1 year.
You know, like I earlier said, the eye has its own ability to regulate these lights naturally. That's why the way all of you are affected by bright lights is not the way I am probably affected. So if this child is exposed to these gadgets when the eye is actually under active development, just know there's going to be a loophole somewhere. These are the children you're going to find that even when it is just shining a little bit, they just can't accommodate it. We just turn on a light inside the room, which is seemingly normal to everyone else, and boom, this child is like, no, just turn it off. So they're going to reach a point where they cannot accommodate some of these small things simply because these blue lights from these gadgets affected them earlier on. So I really wouldn't encourage us to give. It's okay to give them, but let us also be in position to regulate them.
To regulate.
Just like I earlier said, we as adults, we are actually given 20 minutes to focus on this screen. Now this child will not think about that. 20 minutes, like I earlier said, 20 minutes. This child is going to sit on this Cocomelon, say, till you come back in the evening. And then it is seemingly okay because, yeah, the maid is is not disturbed. Let us regulate this. Let us regulate this because as even you, the adult, the blue light affects. What about a child?
Okay, now away from the blue light, we have the UV light. Please tell us about the dangers of UV light and how we can protect our eyes from the sun.
Yeah, UV light is mainly emitted by the sun, and it affects the wall of the eye, say the retina. And of course, when the retina is affected, because that is where the image is from, definitely if it is affected, there's going to be blurring of vision. It can also cause things like retinal burns, and it can cause things like cataracts. There are quite a number of things that can come as a result of UV lights, and things like pterygium, or they are all caused by the sun, being so much exposed to the sun. So for each and everybody who is working for long hours under the sun, we encourage them actually to wear their sunglasses that have UV protection. Not every sunglass you get on the street has UV protection. You come to Lapea, we shall show you what UV protection glasses look like and how they work, and you will notice the difference. The UV protection, 100% UV protection in the sunglass helps one to actually if a person knew the dangers of having a sunglass that is not having UV protection, you would rather actually move without that sunglass.
These shades that we buy downtown at 8.
I would prefer a person walk without that sunglass completely than one walk with them under the sun. It has no UV protection. Yeah, it has no UV protection, but then when you're putting it on, it makes the pupil area dilated, making actually a wider entry for the UV rays to your eye.
Okay. Oh, now what's going on in the images that we have on the screen?
Oh, they are trying to assess the vision of someone and giving them corrective glasses for them to see. Okay. Now that person you're seeing there, they are putting lenses that can help them see, because that person cannot see with their eyes unaided.
All right. Okay, it was important for us to understand that. Now, tell us tell us about the World Optometry Week.
World Optometry Week, this is celebrated every year, and every year comes with its own theme. Just like this year, we are celebrating and we are talking about eyes to the future. Just like you earlier said, eyes are the windows to the future. I was privileged to study in a school of the visually impaired, and I know what it feels for one not to see. My dear people, before you get there, at least let us know you did your best before you got there. Okay. Let us love them, because yes, they are the only things that will help us to the future. And yes, you need them. 90% of what you do will entirely rely on your vision. That's why we are celebrating it today. Join us, have those eyes checked in this week. Come through to any Lapaya branch and have your eyes tested. Yeah, you come, we shall tell you other things that are there.
And you said checking is free of charge.
Checkup is free of charge. The only thing that you need to pay for there, that's if I do recommend you a pair of glasses. Otherwise, checkup is free. You can just come through for consultation. Just come and ask me, oh, Jackie, what do I need to eat for my eyes to be good? Just come through.
Now, I have a question here. Asimo is asking how they can access glasses with Prism.
Glasses with prisms. You please come through. We do test and we know if you actually need those, or we need to first test and we see. Otherwise, they do exist.
It's all in the testing. Now, another comment from Cricket Derek Gagamel in Makindye Luafu says, good morning, Olive and our guest. Being a victim of eye disease with genetic allergy, I credit Lapaya for their effective services scattered in different places. I once went to their branch in Makindye opposite Climax, but guess what? This female young doctor checked me and gave me all the necessary information about my eyes, minus asking for any single coin. I now at least have an idea of the complications I have with my eyes, and though it is genetic, I can now avoid things my eyes are allergic to, and I get some relief, and I'm still looking forward to coming for effective treatment from them, and I do the needful. Thanks. Thank you, Lapaya, and your work is highly appreciated. This is from Cricket Derek Gagamel from Makindye Luafu. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the show, and thank you, Jackie, for educating us on eye health.
Well, thank you so much for the viewer. For anyone who wants to reach us, yeah, you can reach us on any social media handles, Lapaya Uganda. We are on all social media handles, be it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all social media. Even our website, we are there. For those that want to reach us on WhatsApp, I'll give you the number definitely, 0709 744 775. Okay. I'll do it again, 0709 744 779. You can text us, you can flash us, we shall call you back, and feel free to reach out to any of our branches. We are all over Kampala, Wakiso, Entebbe, we are there, Masaka, Jinja, Mbarara. Feel free to walk in anytime.
Okay, now Hannah from Barara had a question that she cannot sleep when the lights are on. Please, Hannah, reach out to Lapaya on the numbers that have been provided, and they will be in position to answer that question. For now, let's take a short break, and when we come back, Zakia Lucky will be coming on with Good Morning Uganda Tourism Express. Stick around.
A new dawn on Behind the Headlines with me, Timothy Nyangweso. Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala. We have conversations that have analysis, explanation, but not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
All on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Up, richer and thankful, Lord, I woke up on the good side of the bed. I am just in the middle of the most beautiful things. We have kept you waiting for a very long time, telling you about this beautiful gem of where we are in the middle of nowhere. And finally, here we are. We took you through the journey to get to this place, and here we finally are. My name is Zakia Lucky. Welcome on the GMU Tourism Express. You might be wondering where we are this morning. We are at Dolwe Island. It's just in the northeastern part of Uganda, just 25 square kilometers, and in Lake Victoria. It's a gem just in the middle of nowhere, but the beauty surrounding it is totally exceptional. Most of you have probably seen this on social media, or even so many people talk about it, including myself. But finally, here we are, and we give you a chance to see for yourself and learn, probably put out what those have not put out. I've realized that there's so much written on these rocks. I have seen a number of rocks, but never have I seen anything look like this before. And by the way, it's not just what's in the background. There's so much more. There's another big stone just in the middle of Lake Victoria, and so many others in the surroundings. It's just a beautiful place to be. Good surroundings, and join me as we find out the history behind this. It's an archaeological site with so much writings on it, rock paintings, and so much carvings. We are here to find out what is hidden behind this, what are the meanings behind this, and the stories. So stick with us as we just get to know more about this island. Like you can see, we are already on site. We have Ugandans that are already exploring Dore Island. But with me is Mr. Gabriel, who is going to be giving us the history of Dolwe, telling us how it has been sustained for such a very long time and what happens in this place. We're so happy to have you, Mr. Gabriel.
Thank you.
Yes, please introduce yourself and tell us more about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Discharge Gabriel. I'm a native of the land. I welcome you to Dolwe Rock Art Site, and particularly there is a history connected with the native and then this island. And briefly, I'm going to give the history and how we came up with the name of Dolwe. And also, as we see on the Google map, we Google it and then we find it is Dolwe. Particularly, we had the Bantu speaking people who were the Vasiguru. Are these the brothers of the Bavuma and then the Suba people? These are people who came these islands, estimated in 12 centuries ago. And now the word Lolwe came up from one who was the founder called Rabango, and we grew up telling us that Lolwe Rabango, meaning Lolwe belongs to Rabango. Lolwe was, when he was trying to invade the place, the new place to stay, was a so amazing place because of its beauty, as you can see behind me, and then said that you come and see by yourself. In that Lusiguru dialect of Lulolwe was Muchemulolwe. It means that you come and see, like in Uganda we say kwerorera, you come and see by yourself, because the place was so amazing. Now from then he called this place to be a place of someone seeing by himself. Then from there it began to be known as a Lolwe. And now the time moved, time and again, people stayed. After the death of Bishop Huntington, they were hit with the tsetse fly. And according to the story that I got from my grandmother, they told me that the tsetse fly that hit these Busoga shores and the islands, it wasn't the real tsetse flies that they used to see. Because during those days, they had the tsetse flies that people were used with. But this one was a bit actually harmful, that they told us that it was brought by the white people to punish Ash for the death of Bishop Huntington. And now, when it came, our people had to flee away from the tsetse fly. Just like you saw when there was a eruption of COVID-19 in Kampala, people ran away from Kampala. No one moved from the village to Kampala. Now, these people, they moved to the nearby areas, which was the eastern part. They went to Kenya, because these people were fishermen, and they had to continue with the fishing so that they would continue living. Now, time went on, and then eventually they had to come back. That is why you find that there is a loss of the culture, because after staying there for some time, people came up with, again, different languages, people speaking Luo, people speaking other different language, and the culture also really reduced. And we have a few of us who can tell these stories, but a number of our people do not know them. And also, the doorway came in yesterday, actually recently here, in 2009, between 5 to 9, when our brothers of the Vagandas, they began calling the doorway. But there is also perception of those who say that the word Lolwe means Luo. It is not Luo, because in Luo dialect, they do not have the meaning of Lolwe. However, those people were taught fishing with these people of ours, the Bantu. And the farthest point of the island that they would reach, it is Lolwe Island. And for us, like in the fishermen, normally when you reach the farthest point on the water, you give that to a lake or the water, the name of that place. For example, when you're in Uganda, they will tell you that I'm in the water of Kalangara. You get? Now, the farthest point the Luo would reach the side was the island of Lolwe. Now, they would say that the lake or the water of Lolwe. Now, they use that word concurrently, and then people now gave them to say it is theirs, but it is not theirs. However, the white man also substituted just W with U and then E with the I. And as you know, that when we sound the syllables and the sounds, the W sounds like U, and then I and E, they're the same. It depends on what you're writing. But normally in English, they use I, and for us we use the E, Lolwe. Now for them it is Lolwe. You get? That is it. However, there is a lot of history on this island here. When we talk about now the rock art in general, actually Lolwe is leading in East Africa, because we have a lot of things that are here. We have the caves that our ancestors used to stay. And as this history tells, that before the invasion of huts, people used to stay under the rocks. And this is one of them. And we have caves here. We have caves all over the island, because the island is rocky. And they used to stay under those islands. And they also left behind their work that they did, which is the art, the rock art. We have the paintings here that have stayed over 2,000 years ago, that they were done with our ancestors. However, the art that was done on these rocks, it is connected with the Twa people. Connected with the Twa people. Why do we say that it is connected with the Twa people? According to the history, we are told that the first inhabitant of the Great Lake region, they were the Twa people. And therefore, we assume that whatever was done before our ancestors, the Bantu crossing from the Congo Basin to this area of Uganda, Kenya, the Great Lake region. It has been done with the tour. That is why it is connected with the tour people. Even when you go to Mufangano Island, we have the paintings there, but we also connect them with the tour people. That is why we say it was also done with the tour people. Then there is also something that we know and people also heard about in Uganda called the so-called the Bachwezi, and you know, now also our people do not understand such. However, when we talk about the Chwezi, that is the religion, the way people would communicate, that feeling of communicating with someone without seeing him face to face, the spiritual being, you know, they so believed in the spiritual being. That's why even in our books of history, they will tell you that they did not see where the Bachwezi went. Perhaps they went back to heaven, you know. They were so spiritual enough. Now, there is also spiritual connection on this island here. You're going to find and to reach some of our sites that were spiritual sites. And today, people have changed from now the ancient to the modernity, and they go there for prayer mountains for the Western churches and the religion. Yes, we want to hike up there, and we want to see that the plane-like or a bird-like rock, which is called Kandege, meaning a plane in our Bantu, Lusigulu, and even the Luya connected language. And it's so amazing with you ready to hike.
It's been such an amazing history, but remember, this is just the start. Excited to know what is yet to be told, especially when we get in there now. Getting here, I thought it is just doorway, but I'm learning that the lorry in it. Now stick with us to get to know what more this island has to offer, and the hidden gems, the history, and all of that that is packaged for us. Remember, this is just the first episode. Now stick with us to just get to know more about this tomorrow. Thank you.
Welcome back from JMU Tourism Express. Time to learn what's in business, JMU Business today. My name is Julie F. Nantaba Musisi, and we are starting with matters, the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda policy, that is BUBU, which is reportedly not being upheld, rendering some locally produced goods dead stock due to unhealthy competition from importers. Now, this is the fate that has befallen Bathi Medical, a syringe manufacturing factory at Namamve Industrial Park. The Mahathi Industries Group chairperson Mike Mukula says government needs to address importation of similar products. When we last visited the syringe producing facility in Namamve in January 2025, all was promising. Machines and workers at the products were all positive, with managers expressing hope in Uganda's quest for industrialization. 2 months later, the proprietors are stuck with the already manufactured and processed syringes. This is due to lack of market, a scenario caused by unhealthy competition from external players. And this, they say, will have dire consequences to the economy, a reason they want government to intervene. To this end, the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda was launched in 2015, and it must be held as it was launched. And the challenge goes beyond Mahathi Industries, whose total investment is about $30 million US. That's a tough one for business. But let's look at matters technology. Samsung Electronics announced that the official rollout of One UI7 will start in April 7th, to be particular, bringing a bold new design for greater personalization and control to the user experience. One UI7 introduces new interface built for AI, helping users interact with their Galaxy devices more naturally than ever before. The update will be available starting with the Galaxy S24 series, Galaxy Z Fold 6, and Z Flip 6, gradually rolling out to more Galaxy smartphones and tablets. One UI 7 comes with a simple, impactful and emotive design, bringing streamlined and cohesive experience to Galaxy users. Now, a simplified home screen, redesigned One UI widgets and lock screen allow users to intuitively and seamlessly customize their devices. And for added convenience, now Bar provides real-time updates that matter most right on the lock screen. And during a morning run, users can easily check their progress and see what song is playing in their Galaxy Buds, all with a simple swipe without unlocking their phone. One UI 7 introduces seamless AI-driven experiences that help users to stay productive and explore their creativity. With Galaxy, AI users can simplify everyday tasks, minimizing the need to switch between applications. And AI Select intuitively recommends by understanding context. For example, a user can simply swipe the edge panel and click AI Select icon when watching a video to save it as a GIF file. And Writing Assist allows users to easily summarize or automatically format contents in which texts can be selected. Now talk about convenience, reliability and style all in one sentence. But let's have a look at what the Forex rates look like. And as of the 17th day of March 2025, the US dollar opened at 3,660.41, buying, that is just above what it was yesterday, and selling at 3,670.41. But by midday, the US dollar was at 3,661.50 and selling at 3,671.50, and it closed in at 3,662.05, buying and selling at 3,672.05. Now the pound was buying at 4,736.49, dropped a bit there, and selling at 4,749.42, and the euro was buying at 3,983.94 and selling at 3,994.82. The Kenyan shilling was buying at 28.28 and selling at 28.36, and the Tanzanian shilling was buying at 1.37 and selling at 1.38. And lastly, the South African rand was buying at 201.09 and selling at 201.64, maintaining its selling and buying support there. And that wraps up what we have today for JMU Business. Good Morning Uganda does continue. Up next is the agenda with Olive Monica Najuma. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Good day to you all, fellow Ugandans. My name is Ambassador Judith Nsavera, the Consul General of the Republic of Uganda here in Guangzhou. Today, I'd like to take this opportunity to present and reintroduce to some of you the Canton Fair in Guangzhou City, China. Established in 1957, the Canton Fair is one of the premier trade exhibitions and fairs in the world. It is the oldest, largest, and the most representative trade fair in China. It is co-hosted by China's Ministry of Commerce and the People's Government of Guangdong Province, and organized by the China Foreign Trade Center. It's held every spring and autumn. Canton Fair is reputed to be one of the most comprehensive international trading events with the longest history and the most complete exhibit variety. It has the largest buyer attendance and the broadest distribution of buyers source country. It serves as the first and foremost platform to promote China's foreign trade, while also providing a platform for foreign goods to be showcased to the Chinese market. Over its several sessions, the Canton Fair has established connections with 229 countries and regions, generating an impressive cumulative export turnover of 1.5 trillion US dollars. In each session, about 200,000 buyers attend the fair from more than 210 countries and regions all over the world. The fair is organized into 3 5-day phases, each phase having a focus on a special category of products ranging from agriculture and forestry, machinery, electronic and household appliances, construction equipment and machinery, new and renewable energy, medical and health products, among others. As part of our efforts towards the promotion of economic and commercial diplomacy, with a particular regard to promotion of Uganda's exports to China and the rest of the world, the consulate secures a 36 square meter booth during the 3rd phase of the fair. The booth offers a platform for Ugandan entrepreneurs to exhibit their products such as Ugandan coffee, tea, honey, arts and crafts, among others. Uganda is on a bold path towards industrialization, and the Uganda consulate in Guangzhou is proud to play a part in this journey. Ugandans have the opportunity to meet with global manufacturers of machinery necessary for agro-industrialization, manufacturing and value addition. By exposing Ugandan entrepreneurs to new global trends and technologies displayed at the Canton Fair, we believe we're opening doors to the future, which will lead to greater productivity, innovation, industrialization and growth. I strongly encourage all Ugandan entrepreneurs, leaders, businesses and players in the agricultural, manufacturing, trade and health sectors to attend the fair in order to access the most up-to-date sector products and also to showcase Uganda's products to the world. Thank you very much.
It's impressive, it's really big, you can find anything.
This will be an opportunity for us.
And yeah, it's crazy.
I think the quality of this is very good. The system, I like.
It's new things, it's new technology. For me, it's amazing.
Well, thank you for joining us once again. I'm Olive Monica Najuma and you are watching Good Morning Uganda Agenda. Now, today we go all the way to China, where Kampala Kampala City Traders Association, CACITA, will be representing Uganda in the Canton Business Fair. All about that, we will be delving into that conversation, and this event is going to take place in China, that is in Guangzhou, China, from the 15th of April to the 19th of April 2025. Now, I'll be speaking to someone from CACITA, and I'll let him introduce himself, and then we get into the conversation. Good morning.
Good morning, Olive.
You're welcome.
And good morning, Uganda. Thank you for watching this show. My name is Bahasha Bek Alias. I am the Research, Policy and Advocacy Officer at Kasita, Uganda. I'm happy to be here and share the good news, especially for our Subuzi, the traders and business persons, about the Canton Fair. And we are going to share a lot so that you get to know. Many of you, we've spoken to you, especially the Basubuzi, and we believe you'll be with us. But this show is to give more information and insights about the trade fair that will be happening in Guangzhou. Thank you.
Well, like you said, the trade fair will be happening in Guangzhou, and if you don't know what Basubuzi means, for our non-Luganda speakers, that is traders. Yes, and him coming from Kasita, he's speaking on behalf of traders because it is the body that unites traders in Kampala. Now, Mr. Liazi, first of all, what makes the Canton Fair the largest and most influential trade fair in the world?
I think I need to first share the history of the Canton Fair.
Okay.
You know, something that has existed since 1957, you know, it has been refined with time. It's just the mega affair that you need to be part of as a trader. And noting that Uganda gets most of its products from China, a good chunk of our products come from China. I think this is the best opportunity. And this trade fair is the one affair that you need to be part of. I was sharing with some colleagues recently about the trade fair. This trade fair is going to present a lot that the Ugandan market always imports. You know, when we decide we are importing. Yeah, so we import from there, for example, machinery, electronics, talk about children's products and all those that are on our market. So I think this is the best opportunity that every trader in Uganda needs to embrace.
All right. Yep. Well, let's look at the key highlights of phase one. I understand that the fair will happen in 3 phases, but let's look at the highlights of phase one and also which phase will Uganda be participating in.
I would want to call upon Ugandans to participate in all the phases.
Okay.
But first things first.
All right.
Yeah, this first phase for this year is coming on from the 15th to 19th of April. It's just about 1 month away. And I think I want to encourage all the traders in Uganda. We have a number of them who import from China, but I want to encourage everyone who can make it to be part of this. Because what we have this time round is something that is going to be so grand, something so big that everyone needs to be part of. This fair is going to create linkages, and it's creating linkages between the Ugandan traders and then the suppliers and manufacturers from the end of China. Because for a fact, we are still importing most of our products, even with the BUBU and all these other policies and strategies.
There is still
we still need to meet our needs or our demand. The local manufacturing cannot still meet the demand that we have. So by design, I would want to use that word, by design, we still need to import, we still need to trade. And this fair does not only have a one way, it's not a one way. At the end of the day, it's going to be 2 ways, because as we strive to make sure that we also balance the trade with our exports and do some exports, I think this is the time. Statistically, we know that about 2.2 billion US dollars is the equivalent, the relative equivalent of what we import. And our export is still at around 87.6 million US dollars. So we still need to work out ways, as we touch base with our Chinese counterparts, we can still touch base and see how best we can also improve our exports to China.
Okay. Now, interesting conversation we are having here, and if you're just joining us, we are speaking matters Canton Fair, which is the largest and most influential trade fair in the world, and it is happening in China, and it will be happening next month. Now, Uganda will be a participant, and the traders in Uganda are represented by Casita. That's why we are having a conversation with Casita this morning to help us understand why it is important for Ugandan entrepreneurs to be a part of this trade fair, but also the opportunities and both networking opportunities and also business opportunities that they might benefit from. So if you have any questions regarding the same to Mr. Liazi here, you can send your questions to WhatsApp number 0709 602 592. Now, Mr. Liazi, how can African entrepreneurs, especially those from Uganda, leverage the fair for business growth?
The number of points that we can touch base. One is that as we get there, we shall be able to get connections and talk to these people, especially those suppliers and manufacturers directly. We, as Casita, we've always had people getting coming with complaints that they get frisked or they get conned when they go there. So a Ugandan trader who wants to really have a direct contact, I think needs to embrace this opportunity. Then two, as we also expand, we also need to get some bit of technological transfer. We also need to understand from the Chinese, who are well celebrated in this industry of manufacturing, so that we also get to learn from them, to learn about how to do these things, because as we also go into local manufacturing, I think this is important that we do it. We do embrace and go there. Three, the other aspect would be that when you go to China, you're not only going for trade, but you're also going to have to get insights in so many things. You know, many times when you're not exposed to some things, you may not explore your potential to the fullest. So this is a best opportunity. And then we also have another element on the side of our ambassador, the consulate, Madam Judith. I think she has been very handy, and I do believe she is the mother of trade at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, she has been very supportive, and this lady is one gift that we've got. So I think I would encourage traders to make sure that they go there. And in her wisdom, she has also organized the booth from the consulate. So even if you don't think of having a booth of your own to exhibit, you're going to have this arrangement already done by our mama, the trading mama, our ambassador to China. So all this is there for you to explore and to embrace. So the one thing that I think that traders in Uganda need to take on is to plan and be there. There is no reason for not being there.
All right. And if you're just joining us, we are talking matters Canton. Now, Canton is the China Import and Export Fair. It is a biannual trade event held in Guangzhou, China since 1957. And Uganda is a participant. So why not be a part of this, especially if you're an entrepreneur or if you're a person that is in business? This would be beneficial, not only for you as an individual, but also for your business. Now, many Ugandans go to China to buy products that they eventually sell back here at home. And Mr. Liaz here did mention that even when we are advancing Buy Uganda, Build Uganda, you will find that still some of the raw materials we use for the products that we are selling on the Ugandan market, made by Ugandans, are gotten from China. A case in point, you'll find that we have factories locally that are making, let's say, sportswear, sports merchandise like uniforms and jerseys and whatnot. But where are they getting the fabric that they're using to make these outfits? Let's look for the ladies getting married. You're buying a gomesi for your wedding, but the fabric does come from China. So all of us, for in one way or another, all of us are concerned. But for the people that are in business, this one is for you. So any questions you may have, please write to us on WhatsApp number 0709-602-592. And we are looking at the benefits of being a part of this trade fair. Now, Mr. Liazi, you have highlighted to us why entrepreneurs should be there, and also you have highlighted on how they can leverage the fair for business growth. But what are the new trends and innovations expected, especially in the electronics and energy sector?
Yeah, I would want to start from a note that may scare some people, but I think for them to appreciate it. There is a bill that is already in Parliament about electronics and green energies. I think the trends are changing. We are continuously appreciating energy that is green and that does not do a lot of emissions. So this fair is presenting new technologies that will probably assist us also to score again when it comes back to our policies and the laws now as we continue to churn them out. So the most important thing now for us is to embrace those technologies and also bring in products that are in line with the policies. Because at the end of the day, if you're still importing electronics that have been phased out or are likely to be phased out and to be against the new laws, I think you'll have a problem. I know many of our traders in electronics have been importing some of these products and continuing to import them. But going forward, it may be a problem. So it is important at this moment that we begin taking on or partaking the new technologies that are going to be exhibited at the fair. And even the products, we are sure, and we've been confirmed too, that these products are in agreement or are in line with the new rules and regulations, the new policies and the new laws. So it's very important when it comes to technology that we continue to embrace new technologies. And as Uganda, we know where we are. We are developing, we are growing. The trajectory is impressive, but we still have a way to go. So we still need to learn from one of these giants. Actually, in the trade and in technology, China is a giant. So there is no way we can shy away. We cannot continue to bury our heads in the sand when we are going to be burnt. The rest of us is going to be burnt. So when we talk about technologies, especially in electronics, I think time is now that we embrace and we continue to bring in new technologies. But that is going to take us to have deliberate strategies. For example, going for these trade fairs so that we learn and also pick products that are in agreement with the new provisions in the laws.
All right. Now, the Canton Fair will have 3 phases, and phase 1 will be in April from the 15th to the 19th of April 2025, and this one will focus on electronics, machinery, and hardware. Now, phase 2 will be starting on April 23rd to 27th, 2025, and it will cover consumer goods, home decor, and gifts. Now, phase 3 will start on the 1st to the 5th of May 2025, and this one will feature textiles, clothing, food, and health products. So when you look at it and how it is organized, every trader across the board is covered. So depending on which business that you are in or which sector, that's when you can maybe book your ticket. Though Mr. Elias here did say that he encourages all Ugandans he encourages Ugandan business people to at least be a part of every phase. Why is it important to be a part of every phase?
You know, definitely, for example, if you had this advantage of having all these phases you can plan. I know for sure there are people who are going to be like, okay, this news is coming a bit late. I may not be able to arrange in the 1 month.
Okay.
Yeah, so those ones can plan for the other phases. But most importantly, I think this is going to be a very good one because there is a deliberate effort and assistance that is coming from our consulate or ambassador in China, and we are liaising with the ambassador of China here or the Chinese embassy here. So everything is going to be very smooth and swift when it comes to processing your travel documents.
Yes.
Everything is going to be smooth. Aside of the 2 embassies, we are also having Casita coming through and many of these other stakeholders. So it's very important for every trader to think and plan. And it's not that expensive for the traders. Yeah.
It's not.
It's not.
I like how you're saying that with a smile, that it's not that expensive.
Not.
But anyway, to whom much is given, a lot is expected. They're traders, they're trying to advance their businesses. So, interesting conversation we are having here, and I am speaking to Mr. Bahasha Beka-Lyazi, who is the Research Policy and Advocacy Officer at Casita, Uganda. We are speaking matters the Canton Business Fair, which is basically the China Import and Export Fair. It is a biannual trade event that is held in Guangzhou, China since 1957. Now, it will be organized in 3 phases, and the first phase will be on the 15th to the 19th of April 2025, and it will focus on electronics, machinery, and hardware. The second phase will be from the 23rd to the 27th of April 2025, and it will cover consumer goods, home decor, and gifts. Now, phase 3 will be from the 1st to the 5th of May 2025, and it features textiles, clothing, food, health products, among others. So everyone is covered.
Right.
There is pretty much a bit of everything for someone.
Everyone, yeah.
Yes. Now let's look at the opportunities for Ugandan entrepreneurs, Mr. Lyazi. What specific products and services at the Canton Fair are relevant to Ugandan traders and exporters?
For a fact, I think I want to shape the narrative. Every product that is going to be at the Canton Fair is very relevant to this country.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would want our viewers to appreciate that every product that is going to be there. What makes a difference is probably what you trade in, and maybe the needs of your consumers or customers. Yeah. So, and you know that our needs are diverse. We have needs for machinery. It is going to be there. As we pursue our way into manufacturing also, machinery is going to be there. So all those in production lines, this is important for them. We talked about electronics. It's there.
Yep.
And it's going to be mega. So I think that is very important, that those in electronics. We talk about children's products. It's there. And then we're going to talk about these day-to-day needs that we do. I would want to draw an example from Chikubo. If you've gone to Chikubo, all the assortments, majority of the assortments there come from China. You know, they do. So all that we need, and remember, it is the heart of trading in this country. I hope that is not news. And
it isn't.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. Yeah, so everything that we need in this country is going to be there. So the best opportunity that we have is for us to be part of this, to go there as traders and make sure we bring the products that are much needed by our people, our customers, to our market. Because at the end of the day, if we are not able to meet this need or the demand, then there's going to be a problem. So we need to do that. And it helps us as well as traders, because we are making money. We are going to be making money. So, and we are going to get these products at a lower cost. Then Casita, together with the embassies, are also softening all the other dynamics that would have increased the cost of doing the business. So at the end of the day, the profitability is also going to be something that you want to take on. So in brief, I think everyone there, traders, need to embrace this because it is very beneficial, and there are several opportunities that they need to make sure that they don't let go at the moment, because we need it.
Okay, now speaking about the benefits, tell us how Ugandan entrepreneurs can secure reliable suppliers and distributors, because I mean we are going there. It ideally means getting the proper contacts, yes, getting the right networks, yes, getting the right opportunities. So how can they secure these?
Yeah, one is that I'll first go back to China, where our ambassador, our great Madame Judith, has done the best preparations, and she and her team have also ensured that we have reliable people that are going to guide us around. For instance, for those who are going for the first time, there are those who will be going for the first time. But even when you've been there, you never stop to learn. You never stop to be challenged. So it's going to be important that we go through the ways, the channels that are proper. Two, locally from here, Kasita is here to help. Kasita is doing its best to help. One is that we are working on the connection, helping people to identify the right suppliers.
Yes, because the key word here is reliable.
Reliable, yes, the right suppliers. At the end of the day, we also make sure that at the other end, we have those that we know are reliable. Because sometimes you cannot do without those agents, because our importers here have agents the other side, but at times they get challenges with them. Now, we've validated a number of those agents together with the embassy to make sure that we have those agents that I would want to use the word accreditation. I think we've accredited, yeah? So we know who you can deal with. We can recommend those that you can deal with who are reliable. We are also working on a way that we know that if someone is going, they will have a smooth trading transaction, other than just I would have wanted to take this in Uganda, but I'll keep it in English. You know, like just bumping there and you have nowhere to start from. All that is sorted. So at the end of the day, you're going to have reliable suppliers, to have reliable partners, reliable manufacturers at the other end, and there wouldn't be any reason for you to worry. And now that we also have a backup of our consulate and these embassies, that guarantees our safety and reliability, or being reliable.
Okay. Now, there is also, I have a viewer here asking about how Ugandan importers can benefit from partnerships with Chinese manufacturers.
I think it depends on how you harness, but the biggest opportunity we have is this one, where you're going to interact direct with the manufacturer. They get to know your need. You also get to know what they can provide and how you can embrace what they can provide. So that interaction is going to be very important for them to harness the dealings between the two, a Ugandan trader and a Chinese manufacturer or Chinese supplier. So it helps a lot if you have that interface, the physical interface. We know with the times of technology, sometimes you can have an interaction with someone online, but going there physically would have additions, would have pluses to how you engage with them. So by and large, that is the point at which you can coin all the other opportunities. When you interact with this person directly, you know what they provide, in how long, what period, how best they can help you or assist you, even when you just send the money after the first interaction. So the opportunity is here for us to embrace. Let's go there, let's plan to go there and make sure we go. Then we shall interact with these manufacturers and suppliers, and thereafter we can know how to deal with them or to deal in our businesses. Yeah.
Well, I'm speaking to Mr. Bahasha Baker Liazi, who is the Research Policy and Advocacy Officer at Kasita, Uganda. Now, the point of our conversation is the Canton Business Fair that is taking place in China. The Canton Import and Export Fair, or also known as China Import and Export Fair. Yes. So it is taking place from the 15th to the 19th. The first phase will be taking place from the 15th to the 19th of April 2025. And then there is phase 2, which will be on the 23rd to the 27th of the same month. And then the last phase will be on the 1st of May to the 5th of May 2025. Now, all these phases are handling or focusing on different aspects of business. So let's say if you're in electronics, machinery and hardware, now the first phase will work for you. Though Mr. Liaz has emphasized that it is important as a trader to be in all the phases. You can never cease to learn, you can never cease to network, you can never cease to get new opportunities. But let's say you in consumer goods, you're in home decor and gifts. I mean, this business has skyrocketed in Uganda. So you, the second phase, would be the one that will have the products that are favorable for your business, and this will be from the 27th to the from the 23rd to the 27th of April 2025, and the last phase will be on the 1st May to the 5th of May, and this one caters to everything that you find in Chiembe, that is textiles, clothing, and then food, health products, among others. So it's important for you to be there. And Mr. Liazi here said when it comes to visas and travel documentation, they will be helping the traders to get the Chinese visas so that you can travel. Now, Mr. Liazi, please take us a little back for traders that are just joining our conversation. If someone is just learning about this fair today and they want to travel, will they be in position to get the travel documentation, and how do they go about this?
Yes, we've made our arrangements, and I want to give confidence to all those who are planning or would wish to go. You need to do two things. If you're good at e-applications, you can do it on yourself, on your own. But if you're not that good and you have challenges, then you need to visit us or to call us at Kasita, Uganda. We have a devoted helpline and also a desk that is handling this. So anytime someone comes into Kasita, Kasita is located on Market Street at Royal Complex Building, 3rd floor. And our offices are always open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. So anyone who comes in, if they are around Kampala, but if they are not, then they can go to our website and also initiate interactions with us, or else call into our numbers or contacts, and anytime we can be able to address that. But going back to how we can facilitate their preparations, when you come in, we will listen to you. First of all, we will listen to you. We will get to understand what area of trading you're in. If you're not yet in trading, we will want to know what are your interests. Thereafter, we can know how best to moderate or to help you. If it is someone who has already had some bit of preparations, those who have traveled before, we know they already have their primary travel documents. So it would be just the finished touches into that. But for those who have never traveled, we may have to take them through the modalities and how they can have them completed so that they travel on time. Yeah. So we are committed and dedicated. We have a dedicated desk to help and also to be able to facilitate these travels in the swiftest way possible. We, like I said earlier, we are in touch and working together with the embassies, both the Embassy of the People's Republic of China here in Uganda, with Ambassador Zhang and his team, and also our consulate and ambassador to China, Madam Judith and her team on the other end of China. So in a way, that network is going to facilitate and enable anyone who comes in to travel. Provided you have a travel plan or a travel need, then we shall have to help you and make sure that you do travel for that fair, the Canton Fair.
Okay, there is something you did say about whether or not you're in business, because in my understanding, the fair is for people that are already in business, running businesses. Please clarify on whether or not those that have business intentions and probably want to first go, you know, sink their feet into the Chinese waters and get to have an understanding of business, if they also are invited or encouraged to attend the fair, and whether or not they will get your support as Casita, yet since they are not yet in business.
Yeah, we as Casita, we are open. We are open to all, those who are already in business and those who may have business intentions. I'll tell you for a fact, almost on a daily we have someone coming in consulting about starting a business. Some of them have their capital, ready capital, or have put together something, but they want to shape their insights into business. Which business can I go into? So this trade fair gives you the chance for you to explore, especially those who have intentions to import, as well as those who may want to export.
I was about to ask if there are opportunities for export.
For export, yes. It is arrangements like this that we continue to harness our exportation, you know, networking. Yeah, because at the end of the day, even as a country, there is a policy, or there is a plan and strategy to make sure that we grow our exportation. You know, for sure, like I said earlier, at the moment the scale is tilted. We import more and export less, but we should be able, with time, to balance the scale. So you going there would also help you to understand what can you take there. Can you do the coffee? Can you do these other agro-based products and all the others? So you touch base, you also get there and do your feasibilities, or you do your business research, and you're able to understand. So for those that are not yet in business, it is also as equally important for them to go and make sure that they get to understand things firsthand. It helps.
Okay, it does help. So you don't have an excuse. You can't say, oh, well, I'm just planning. If you have the money and if you need the contacts. And I think this is the best opportunity, the best time for someone that is thinking or has intentions of starting a business to go and find out what they're trying to, you know, sink themselves into, and also to get the beneficial contacts, if any, because this is how you now have a one-on-one with manufacturers. Because I know that lately, because of the digital age, people go to China a few times and then they just start ordering. Yeah,
but you need that first entry.
You need the first entry.
But even when you've already been there, a number of them have not had good experiences. So you need to go back and reshape your contacts. Yeah, you kind of touch base with others who are reliable and people that you can trust. And you would not expect that in an arrangement that has been embraced and you know, moved by embassies,
greenlit by the government,
government, that you would find buffet. You know, no, definitely no. So I think this is the best guarantee that you get as a trader for your hard-earned money and your plans to make sure that your plans come to life. This is the best opportunity that anyone would want to embrace.
Okay. Now let's get into Casita's role. Casita is Kampala City Traders Association. And Mr. if you're just joining us and you're wondering why Mr. Liaz is speaking on behalf of traders or Casita, Mr. Liaz here is the Policy and Advocacy Officer at Kampala City Traders Association, Uganda. And he is helping us understand why the China Import and Export Fair is important to Ugandan business individuals. Now, let's look at Kasita, Mr. Liazi. Looking at the Canton Fair, but also other fairs that happen, we normally have Uganda, Dubai, or Dubai Uganda Business Fair, and many others across the world. So what role does Kasita play in supporting Ugandan traders to attend international fairs of this nature? You've talked about the help you give them, let's say, regarding travel documentation. Now that has been put to bed, but what other roles do you play in helping them attend these fairs?
Kasita, maybe I can just talk something, just a line or two about Kasita. Kasita is actually a national outfit now. As much as the name is Kampala City. Okay. Yeah, that was our foundation. Okay. But in 2013, we embraced the national mandate and we cover the entire country. Okay. So we are an association where all traders across the country collect or associate. Yeah. So at the end of the day, our mandate alone demands of us to make sure that we identify opportunities for trading. So that is the first role that we are doing, even in this. For example, there could be people who may not have known about the Canton Fair, but we've, through our networking, we've had to get on board with it. And as well as in other countries, like we talked about UAE, particularly Dubai, we've touched base with other countries, and I think the best is for us to make sure that we look out for all those opportunities, identify them. Then two, we offer customized information sharing for every trader, whichever sector you're in, because we know there are several sectors. So for everywhere that you want to do your trading, we know the sectors. We have industry experts, we have sector experts that can help you shape not only your idea, but sometimes to improve what you're already doing. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we are offering consultation, and many times we do it for free. Yeah, but we are opening ground for business, both internally and externally. Even within our East African community, we've had engagements, and there is to the tune of 300 million people across East African community. So as we go into interactions and conversations, we are opening opportunities. We do advocacies, like you said, is part of my primary roles, advocacies. We talk about enabling environment. You go into the taxes, I think the most popular issues around trading. Yeah, we've engaged and we continue to engage. The achievements, there are still some challenges or things that we still need to make sure that we have a common ground with the implementers or the enforcers, the regulators, and all the others. We have issues of infrastructure, those enablers. We are always there speaking. I know many times our spokesperson, our chairperson, our CEO, we are everywhere every day. We are everywhere talking and speaking on behalf of traders, trying to lobby, advocate, and make sure that these people get their trading in shape. Now, the other issue is that we always do. We know that people sometimes in business have challenges of financing or funding. Yeah. So we've worked out ways with partner organizations, that funding organizations and institutions, including banks and all the others. But even internally, we've gone on to initiate, to have an initiative of a cooperative, the Uganda Light Business Community Cooperative. Yeah, it has already taken shape, already registered and ongoing. We hope in future it can provide cheap financing and patient financing, because for businesses that we do, depending on the level at which you engage, there are times when you need a facilitator that is going to be patient with you, a facilitator that is, affordable for you to be profitable in business. So we are doing all this so that a trader at whatever level you're covered. And I want to guarantee or to give confidence to everyone, whatever level you are at trading, we are there for you as Kasita. Whether you're a nyanya seller, tomato seller, whether you're a manufacturer, we have covered you, and we continue to embrace and have capacity so that we serve you best. Yeah, but back to the trading affairs, we are already into negotiations with again in UAE. In Sharjah, we shall be also going to Sharjah in the next 2 months. I think we are visiting about four destinations that are very important to trade in Uganda. We are starting with the Canton in Guangzhou in China. Then we shall be going to Sharjah. We have a plan to go to the UK. We have a plan to go to Canada. Of recent, we had a conversation, a very good conversation with the US Embassy, the person in charge of economics. And on the East African community aspect, we've continuous and every day we do engage. So at the end of the day, we want to make sure that the trader may not fail because of other reasons. Probably they as the individuals. But even for the individuals, we're going to shape their understanding of business and how we offer customized or tailored kind of directed support to businesses as and when people present their need. But also sometimes when we're out there, we get to identify that, okay, if you're able to do this, maybe you could do this better. So we shape, or we try to share the expertise that we have with them so that they benefit from trading. Trade is the number one or the biggest contributor to GDP in this country.
It is.
Yeah. And it touches almost every aspect of life in one way or another. Either as a recipient, whether you're at the recipient side or you're at the supplier side, whether you're in agriculture, you're in manufacturing, it is either the beginning or it is the channel or it is the end, the outcome. So in a way, I would want us to implore government to make sure that it also gives space and considerations, very dedicated considerations to trade, because contributing over 70% to GDP is not a mean feat. It's not a small thing.
No.
And if we embraced it better and put these enablers in place, I think we could overshoot. With the current, tenfold push from 50 to 500, I think we can do this through trade. And at the end of the day, every strategy that we are making, recent, we know that the NPA is about to give us the NDP 4. Yeah, so all that it speaks into, I think, is covered and coined around harnessing trade. So at the end of the day, as Kasita, we would want to have all those end points coming into shape. Because this is where it all goes with the trading. It is the number one thing that we have to make sure that we give chance to as a country at whatever level. Because maybe the other statistic I can share is that we still have a big chunk of it as being informal, a big chunk of it falling into SMEs, So with the informal sharing about 52%, of the entire, and formal being around 48 only. Yeah, but 48 is also not a small one when it comes to statistics, but definitely the other one is bigger, 52. And then we have SMEs occupying the space of over, or to the tune of about 80% of the businesses. So we need to be categorical, even as we push for policies. We need to push for policies and government strategies and plans that look at, maybe we can look at those tiers. We may call them tiers or categories of trading and other socio-economic activities that go on in this country. Then through that, we can really serve this country to the best. And as Kasita, for us, we are here to stay, and we hope and pray that we can always serve the communities, the trading community, but in the end, we also serve Uganda, because literally, Olive, you're here, but in one way, I know you're also a trader somewhere. probably, yeah. Or if you're not, then you're a customer somewhere.
A consumer.
Yeah, consumer.
Yes.
So it embraces, or it takes on everyone, and it is to the advantage of everyone that we continue to shape trading in this country.
All right, and now I have a comment coming in from Daniel, and he says, "Good morning, Uganda, and thanks for the show. I would like to know how I benefit from this Canton Fair 2025 because I have not been in business before, but it's what I had planned this year. I tried in 2022, but all in vain with my fellow Ugandans." Now he goes on to say that he paid some good money, but didn't receive his things, and some of it because of some of what he calls funny Ugandan companies. So what do you say to Daniel?
I think I would want to first put the word "Dear Daniel" so as to address him directly. So dear Daniel, sorry for the experience that you went through, but I think the Canton Fair gives you the best opportunity. What you need to start with is to come, process your travel, and go to Canton Fair. You call the rest history after that. But going forward, we've talked about the advantages of you going. You'll be able to touch base with the real suppliers and manufacturers, and at the end of the day, I am sure you never have such an experience. You can also visit us at Kasita, Uganda for more interactions, or you can call in. Our numbers can be accessed online or anywhere. You talk about Kasita, you'll be able to get them. We are devoted to making sure that people like Daniel do not really lose their monies. We are devoted to make sure that the trading experience is much better than regrets. And we know and we strive to make sure that as we invest in, we are able to reap and also get profits to our investment.
Okay. Now, another comment says about the Canton Fair 2025. How about us who are incapacitated with funds? Is there a chance to get suppliers contracts if we mention?
Yeah, supply contracts can be got. Sometimes we have groupages. If you don't have much, maybe you can come and or you can contact us. Then we can group you with someone who can who will be able to go, for example, on your behalf, and someone who is reliable. So that person in the groupages, we can have a group leader or someone who is going to represent a group representative. So that person will be able to give you the facts as it is on the ground. So you'll not have to worry, even when you're not able to travel as a person. But it would be very important or better if someone traveled by themselves. But for people who are not able to travel by themselves, we have those other alternatives. Then even at the end of the day, we can continue to recommend. Probably there will be in the next phase or the third phase, a person like him or her could be able to also go. But for this one, the best we could do is to have an attached group kind of representation.
Okay. Now the last comment comes in from Owen Raymond in Mbale City, and he says, "Thank you UBC Broadcast for everything you're doing," and he says, "I wish Kasita could open an app for combining all traders." Now, Mr. Liazi, as we close, is there, I mean, we are in the age of technology and innovation, and even URA has gone online. You know, we are paying taxes online and whatnot. So are you planning to have an app where traders can find information or even ask questions?
Yes, definitely it is something that we cannot run away from. As Kasita, we have plans to have the app, even for cell phone boarding or people to register.
Yes.
We've previously, traditionally, embraced the website, where people can get information and also communicate back to us.
Is it active?
Yeah, it is very active.
Because many companies have websites for the sake of having a website.
It's very active, regularly updated, and it's interactive in a way.
Okay.
Then with the app, that is the destination or the end that we are going for. So, but as Kasita, even in Mbale, we work with a trader association that is in Mbale. So you may need to reach out to, in the meantime, reach out to the trader associations in your locations. If you're in Mbale, there's the traders association there. If you're in Soroti, traders association in Mobende, in Jinja, Gulu, Mbarara, we are there. Just look for the nearest trader association and you know that they are associate with Kasita.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Liazi. I believe that if there were any questions, many of them have been answered. But in the event that you've just joined the conversation and you just caught the tail end of it, you can check out Kasita's website and you will have the contact details there so that you can reach out to them and ask any questions you have as regards the China Import and Export Fair, also known as Canton, taking place from the 15th of April up until the 5th of May 2025, covering different parts of business. The first phase will focus on electronics, machinery and hardware. The second phase will focus on consumer goods, home decor and gifts, and the last phase will feature textiles, clothing, food, health products, among others. And I have been speaking to Mr. Bahasha Baker Liazi, who is the Policy and Advocacy Officer at Kampala City Traders Association, which he said is not just an association for Kampala traders, but a national outfit. I thought I should clarify that. Thank you so much, Mr. Liazi.
Did you get that?
No, I didn't.
Thank you. It's thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
You're
now
welcome.
that we're going to China.
Okay. Yeah. And thank you, dear viewer, for being a part of this conversation. Now, Ruben is just here, ready to give you sports updates. And later on, Shraba Robert Nyonyintona will be coming back with Good Morning Uganda Extra. So stick around.